Since the death of Elvis Presley, his home, Graceland, has been an official tourist destination, having a record number of visitors every year, which is only second to the White House when you talk about the most visited homes in the world. By extension, the number of tourists that visit the area has contributed to the growth of businesses, all dedicated to the memory of the legend. However, something very sinister lurks in the background, as the top floor of the Graceland home has remained off-limits since it opened to the public. Over the years, there have been conspiracy theories, all directed toward unraveling the mystery that rests within. So, one might ask, what is really housed on the top floor of the Graceland mansion? Join us as we dive into the real reason the top floor of the Graceland mansion remains barred to the public. Elvis Presley's Graceland home has been one of the most iconic landmarks in Memphis, Tennessee, and has been a major tourist attraction ever since the legend passed. Located at 3764 Elvis Presley Boulevard, a lot of fans and rock and roll enthusiasts have trooped through the gates, both as homage to the king of rock and roll and also to get a glimpse into what life must have been like for the legend. The home has become a very significant piece of the American culture and boasts a very important historical significance. Today, the attention that Elvis has pulled to the Graceland mansion seems to have overshadowed its long history. Elvis purchased the house in 1957, but the original owners of the home were also very influential figures in Memphis. The home was built in 1939 by Dr. Thomas Moore and his wife Ruth. Originally, the home was named after Ruth's aunt, Grace Toeuf, who was the original owner of the land. The Toeuf family rose to relevance in Memphis for their involvement in the printing business, and their rich history must have been one thing that attracted Elvis to the home in the first place. There have also been a little bit of musical foundation in the house before Elvis bought it. The Toeufs had a deep appreciation for music in their time, and Ruth was known to host guests in the mansion, while she entertained them with her spectacular piano skills. Looking at the construction, you would notice that the home is quite elegant and stylish, with large rooms that could contain guests, and this was just the perfect setting that Elvis needed for his home. By the time Elvis purchased the house in 1957, he was just 22 and had paid $102,500 for the home, which is just under $1 million when adjusted for inflation. He was already a well-known figure at the time and needed a safe place for him and his family to escape all the attention that he was getting at the time. Once the house was his, he started making modifications that would suit his style, and some of these remain to this day for anyone who visits that mansion to see. The house sits on 13.8 acres and has seen some expansion since the Presleys moved in. Graceland provided an escape for Elvis, who would normally be overwhelmed by the attention his popularity affords him. Not many will know this, but Elvis was known to have been on several medications, some of which were used to keep his mood stable and help him sleep. In fact, the official cause of his death is somehow linked to these. So Elvis was really under a lot of pressure and needed all the peace he could get away from it all. This was the purpose that Graceland served for him. Graceland has also come to be the final resting place for Elvis Presley. Originally, he was buried at Forest Hill Cemetery in Memphis, alongside his mother, Gladys Presley, after he died on August 16, 1977. However, series of events necessitated the move of his resting place, one of which were the attempts to break into the grave and steal his body. This necessitated the move that his father, Vernon Presley, made on October 2, 1977, when he moved both Elvis's and his mother's bodies to the meditation garden at Graceland, a relaxation area that has been built into the property. Over the years, the garden has been the final resting place for all the Presleys. It is in this garden that Vernon Presley, Elvis's father, who died in 1979, Minnie Mae Presley, Elvis's grandmother, who passed away in 1980, Benjamin Keough, Elvis's son, who sadly took his life in 2020, and most recently Lisa Marie Presley, Elvis's only daughter, who passed away in 2023, are all buried. There is also a monument in the garden for Elvis's twin, who came out as a stillborn at the time of their birth. This has become a major attraction for all who visit Graceland, as they get to see the final resting place of the legend. The mansion did not open to the public till 1982 and has become a major tourist attraction in Memphis. Holding the record as the second world's most visited home, the house receives about 600,000 visitors annually, as everyone seems to want to get a glimpse of what life must have been like for the Elvis. The most obvious thing to anyone who visits the mansion is that Elvis really did have an exquisite taste. The house is exquisitely furnished for comfort and seems like a time capsule, which takes one back to the time of Elvis. The visitors are taken on a tour to every other part of the house, excluding the mysterious top floor of the home. History has it that even when Elvis was alive, the top floor has always been for the family alone, a legacy that they have continued long after his death. This has left an air of mystery around that section of the house, but the visitors get a feel of the other parts. The tour always begins with the living room at the house, which features a tastefully furnished space with peacock-stained glass windows. Everything in this space screams elegance, as it would have been the space where Elvis entertained his visitors back in the day. Close to this is also the music room, which makes total sense, considering we're talking about the king of rock and roll himself. This space houses his piano, and one could feel what it must have been like with Elvis playing. The dining room in the house is well adorned with fine china crystal and gives a sense that the Presleys lived like royalties. The kitchen must have always been very busy at family mealtimes, especially on days he had visitors over. The tourists are allowed to use their imaginations and take in the experience. One of the most famous rooms in the house is the Jungle Room, which was decorated to give a feeling of being in nature. The room has green shag carpets to mimic natural greenery with exotic finishing. This was also the room where the magic happened in the house, as it also contains Elvis's recording studio. Some of his major hits were made here in the 1970s. Exploring further, one would find the TV room in the basement. The room contains several televisions, and it's believed that Elvis would sit there and watch several programs at the same time. Being an entertainer, he probably needed to keep up with trends at the time. The furnishing in the room reflects the pop culture of the time, as it features several bright colors. In the same basement, there is also a billiard room, which has also been designed for maximum comfort, featuring pleated fabric, both on the walls and ceiling, providing a cozy feeling in the room. Stepping into the building, originally built to be a racquetball building, the tourists are transported into his Hall of Fame. The room has been converted to house all the numerous awards and memorabilia that Elvis had gotten over the years. In this room, you can also spot some of the costumes that he used for his stage performances, and it also has one of his pianos. You can't help but appreciate what the man has achieved in his life once you visit Graceland. In all these, there remains a section of the house that no member of the public has ever set foot in. The whole top floor of the building remains sealed to the public and features Elvis's personal office and bedrooms. One of the rooms up there is the master's bedroom, which has the bathroom that Elvis Presley was found dead in. The family had carried on with the culture that Elvis started before his death, which marked the top floor as an area meant for only family. This has resulted in visitors speculating on what might be housed on this floor. Some believe that the floor is haunted by Elvis's ghost, being the reason it has been sealed off, but there has been no evidence of this. Graceland's appeal extends far beyond the mansion itself. The estate has been developed into a comprehensive tourist destination that includes various attractions, shops, and dining areas, all themed around Elvis Presley and his legacy. There is an entertainment complex located across the street from the mansion, which offers a deeper dive into Elvis's life and career. It includes the Elvis Presley Car Museum, which showcases some of Elvis's most famous vehicles, including his pink Cadillac. The complex also houses the Elvis, the Entertainer Career Museum, featuring costumes, records, and other memorabilia from Elvis's illustrious career. While in Memphis also, you can see the Lisa Marie and Hound Dog 2, which are both Elvis's private jets, which are on display for visitors to tour. The Lisa Marie, a Convair 880, is particularly famous for its luxurious interior, complete with a living room, conference room, and bedroom. There is also the Graceland shops, which include several gift shops where visitors can purchase Elvis-themed merchandise, ranging from apparel and accessories to music and memorabilia. These shops are a must-visit for fans looking to take a piece of Graceland home with them. Some of the dining options around Graceland are also themed around Elvis. Restaurants such as Gladys's Diner and Vernon's Smokehouse offer a variety of Southern comfort foods, paying homage to the cuisine Elvis loved. The atmosphere in these eateries is designed to evoke the 1950s and 60s, with music and decor that reflect the era of Elvis's fame. Year after year, several people continue to troop into Memphis with the promise of seeing the Graceland Mansion. Here, they get the opportunity not just to see how Elvis lived, but also to reflect and celebrate the milestones that Elvis achieved in his lifetime. To this day, there are still events that are held in honor of Elvis, such as the Elvis Week in August. The event serves as both a remembrance and a celebration of his achievements. Tourists who visit Memphis for a tour of Elvis Presley's estate always comment on the connection that they feel to the history and life of the legend. Apart from tour guides, visitors are also given devices that help them through the tour, allowing everyone to take in the environment at their own pace. So many still look forward to visiting the mansion every year. When the world heard about Elvis's passing, everyone was in shock and wondered what might have cut his life short at the peak of his career. One cannot help but wonder what life would have been like for him if he lived a bit longer. However, his legacy has lived long after him and shows no sign of fading anytime soon. Graceland holds a big part of his life, and people are always thrilled to get a glimpse of it, but the mystery that comes with the secluded top floor of the building seems to have topped every experience at the mansion. The popular second floor has been very exclusive and has been closed off to even some very influential figures who paid visits to Graceland. There have only been very few people who have been allowed up to that section, and they all had familial ties to the Presleys before that could happen. No one has ever heard them talk about what they have seen, years after that has happened. So far, there have been no authenticated images of this floor anywhere, since after the death of Elvis, adding to the overall mystery. One of the few people who have gained access to this floor is Nicolas Cage, the celebrated Hollywood actor. In the early 2000s, he was married to one of Elvis's daughters, Lisa Marie Presley, who got him access to the top floor of Graceland as a member of the family. Before the visit, Nicholas had been known to be a huge fan of Elvis, and this was a life-changing moment for him. The second person who had the opportunity to go upstairs was Priscilla Presley, Elvis's ex-wife. Unlike Cage, Priscilla's connection to the upstairs area is deeply personal. She was one of the closest people to Elvis during his life and continues to be a key figure in preserving his legacy. Priscilla has always been respectful of the privacy and sanctity of the upstairs rooms, never revealing any details about what is kept there. Her discretion has been seen by many as a sign of her ongoing devotion to Elvis's memory, and it has ensured that the upstairs remains shrouded in mystery. This air of secrecy has pushed conspiracy theorists to speculate about what might be up there. Some believe that the family might have left the floor just as it was at the time of Elvis's death. They believe that this is an attempt to keep his memory and also serve as a shrine to the king of rock and roll. To this set, the top floor would be like a time capsule, maintaining the memory of the day that Elvis died. There was another group that believed that some of his unreleased hits might be hidden away in there. One might also find some precious items that Elvis had gathered over his lifetime, which might include works of art, which his family would not want to draw attention to for their safety. However, no one is truly sure of any of these, as there has been no evidence from anyone to back them up. But here is what we know that might add to the whole intrigue. On the night that Elvis died on August 16, 1977, he had gone into the bathroom with a book, which was normal for him at the time. However, he suffered a heart attack and was later found dead on the floor. This said bathroom is housed somewhere on that floor, and the fact that no one has been allowed to see it has added to the intrigue. Tourists are left to go with their curiosity, leaving everyone yearning for more. The conspiracy theories that we have seen so far haven't been too outlandish, but there are some that have been very imaginative. Some have it that the Presley family is actually keeping Elvis up there, suggesting that the legend might still be alive and has been kept from the public ever since. No one is sure what the reason for this might be, but this group believes that Elvis has been kept there to live out his days and that he never left the building on the day that they said he died. Another theory hints at an attempt at a cover-up for something that Elvis might have done in his lifetime. It is believed that the evidence of some very dark secret is hidden away on this floor as a way to maintain the good image of the legend. No one has come forward to state the nature of this secret, but this has been a popular belief among some people. All these hints at how creative the human mind can be when it's determined to find meaning in things that seem to have no explanation. While the rumors and conspiracy theories are undoubtedly intriguing, the reality is likely much simpler. The Presley family has always been deeply protective of Elvis's legacy, and the decision to keep the upstairs area private is likely an extension of that desire to preserve his memory. The upstairs area, including the bathroom where Elvis died, is undoubtedly filled with personal items and memories that are too intimate to share with the world. By keeping this space private, the family can ensure that Elvis's final moments and his personal life remain sacred, untouched by the outside world. It's also important to remember that Graceland is not just a tourist attraction, it is a home. For many years, it was the place where Elvis lived, loved, and worked. The upstairs rooms were his sanctuary, a place where he could escape from the pressures of fame and be himself. In keeping these rooms private, the Presley family is honoring Elvis's need for privacy and ensuring that the most personal aspects of his life remain protected. The restricted area of Graceland has become a symbol of mystery and speculation, with only a select few granted access to its secrets. While rumors and conspiracy theories abound, the reality is that the Presley family likely wants to preserve the upstairs area as a private space, filled with personal items and memories that are too intimate to be shared with the public. By keeping this area off-limits, they are ensuring that Elvis's memory remains intact and that the sanctity of his final moments is preserved. Have you ever been to Graceland? Share your experience in the comments and we will see you in the next one.